I am so nervous to see how this video is going to go. Hello my sunflowers. I know this video is going to be very different from the videos that you're used to see me posting. I've been dreading making this video, but I have always wanted to make it at the same time, so we're finally here. We'll see when this gets posted. Today I think is the 17th, so we'll see when I have the guts to post this, but I have always told you guys that one day I will share what I go through when it comes to mental health and personal yet relatable stuff. Things like that, the deep stuff, we'll put it like that. So fair warning, there's going to be a lot of triggering conversations and topics and things that I go through that can be very triggering. So here is your big fat warning. To all those who stay and listen, I appreciate you so much. Feel free to use the comments as your safe space if you need it. And also another fair warning, my speech is going to be very slow, and there's a chance that all of this might be very unorganized because I meant to organize all my thoughts on my notes, but I did not do that. So hopefully this goes well, because I have always wanted to talk about this, and I've never talked about these things out loud, whether a stranger is listening or whether someone who's really close to me in real life listens to me. So this is going to be very different and very hard to talk about, so I will try to get through this the best that I can. So people are always asking me, as a content creator, how do I deal with my mental health? Being a content creator, what does that do to my mental health? And the main thing that I can say about it is that whether I'm a creator and posting my art out there for the world to see, or whether I'm not doing that, this isn't any different. My mental health wouldn't be any different. It wouldn't be better, and I don't think it would be worse, because everything I already experience day to day is what I consider peak or worse. But I will say though, being on the internet has its ups and it definitely has its downs. You know, when it comes to hatred, that's the main thing that really messes with my mental health. But at the end of the day, hate for me is so easy to get over nowadays. It's just, hatred is so pathetic when it comes to the internet. Hatred is just someone who's so insecure with themselves that the only thing that they can do to make themselves feel better is to hate on someone simply for doing what they love. And it's just sad. I feel bad for those who choose to hate, because there's so many better things to do in the world besides hate on someone who is just having fun. But the things that do bother me when it comes to the internet is when people tell me things that just isn't true. And a lot of y'all were here when I talked about the Anna Oops situation and the other dude's video where they were both saying that I'm faking mental disorders and faking my mental health for attention and clout. And I don't think I'll dive any more into that because I've already made those 2 videos regarding that situation, but stuff like that hurts, and I think about it all the time. People are commenting on my videos all the time saying that I'm faking my mental issues and I just want attention. And I guess in a way, when it comes to the attention, they're right. Because I want to be seen. I want to be heard. I want people to know what I go through, and I want other people to know that I see them and I hear them. Because in some way, shape, or form, I feel like mental health isn't talked about enough. Okay, I'm not going to give you guys a life story because that can get really boring, but I have struggled and quite honestly suffered with anxiety specifically ever since I was a child. I remember the days when my anxiety would curl up and just make me just almost explode. I would have to curl up into a ball to feel grounded to the world and feel like I'm here. And ever since then, it has just grown into this nasty monster that I can't seem to just get away from. You know, I was medicated for a certain amount of years, and honestly, it only made things worse. And now this has gotten even worse. So we'll talk about anxiety for just a little bit. Anxiety for me is the worst. It is the absolute worst. Out of all the things that I deal with. I can deal with everything else, but anxiety is just getting worse. I wake up every single morning early, very early, shaking and feeling like my skin just wants to escape from my body, and it feels like I'm going to explode. It's so hard to explain. I want to run away from myself. That's the best way to explain it every single morning. And I overthink these things that just aren't real. I overthink these things that I know aren't true. My heart and my soul knows these things, but my brain is just so against me every single morning and for the rest of the day. Randomly, everything just goes wrong. There was one situation back a couple years ago where I was getting ready for bed, and then all of a sudden woke up with my heart beating out of my chest, and I was shaking and I was blacking out. And I would go to the bathroom and try to relax, but this feeling that swells up my chest and my stomach is the most traumatizing feeling that I feel a little bit too often. And I don't know what to do besides just lay on the floor and feel this feeling that is overwhelming, unbelievably overwhelming. It is painful, and it feels like I'm going to die right then and there. The moment I lay on the floor, I'm going to die. So that night I called 911 because it was a feeling I had never felt before in my life. And they took me to the hospital. I wasn't helped. The doctors kind of just left me in my room. Many things happened during that trip that I will never forget. I was told that I could have one person with me because I needed someone with me, but I was alone for the entire day. And then by the end of it, they blamed it on my menstrual cycle. And it was essentially just a huge panic attack, and I needed something. I didn't know what I needed, but I needed something. I needed someone. I was reaching for someone's hand, and there was no one to go to. I wasn't living with my fiance at the time. I wasn't living with anyone who could have been there for me. And, you know, I could have called a lot of people, but I'll be honest, talking to certain people in my life these days, no one really thinks it's as serious as I say. So all I ever really have is me, myself, and I. In real life. Physically. So the doctors basically told me that I was freaking out and over-exaggerating, and they left me in my room the entire time. And I just wanted to run away. So now when these things happen, I literally fall to the floor and I want to scream and I want to cry, but no sound comes from it. And I think that's what kills me even more is I want to scream, I want to shout, I want to cry, I want to tear the world apart, but I just lay there rolling back and forth like a roly-poly. That's all I can seem to do. And it hurts. It sucks. Bad. The way anxiety makes me feel, I want to take on the world. I can take on the world. But anxiety makes me want to just stay away from everything and everyone. It's hard to hang out with friends. It's hard to hang out with family. Because I just want to be alone. I'm not one who parties. I'm not one who does fun things like that. I want to. I really, really do. But then there's that voice in my head that's just like, you're better off alone. Like, the world doesn't want to see your face. Like, don't ever think about opening that front door and just go back to bed. The world doesn't care. I don't know why it thinks that. Anyways, anxiety is a beast for me. I never thought it would get so bad. I was doing so good being off medication for a while. I was doing really good. And then that night is when everything changed. I don't know why. I think about it all the time. I want to know why I woke up with my heart slamming through my chest. And when I would stand up, the world was tilting and moving.
and my skin was crawling off my bones. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. It's like each blood vessel was exploding, and I felt everything. But after that night, about 3 years ago, after that night, everything just got worse, and I feel this so often, and it sucks. It's hard. I've been thinking about going back and getting professional help, but most doctors that I ever saw just sucked. They always made it seem like everything is sunshine and rainbows, and I'm being over dramatic, and it takes me a while to find a good doctor. I just don't want to go through that again, because it took me a long time to find a good doctor, and that doctor is no longer in my state. And another thing about being medicated is that being medicated, I was not me. I was not me. I was unbelievably miserable. I was switching medication every, 2-3 months because it wasn't working. I was having withdrawals while taking the medication every morning, same time, every day. And I don't know why I was feeling the way that I was. But yeah, anxiety is a beast. And it's hard. So hard. One day I will find better words to explain how this makes me feel and how anxiety just attacks me. But right now, for some reason, all I can really explain is that it just feels like my body and brain have a war, a flashing, beating, throbbing war that continues and continues until one of them has to give up and one of them has to throw out a white flag. But yeah, that is pretty much anxiety for the most of it. Depression, I think that's what's been eating me for a little bit. And usually I am very good. I am so good with ignoring the fact that my body wants to just stay in bed all day. The fact that I want nothing to do with anyone. I want to be alone. I don't want to eat. I don't want to drink. I don't want to do anything. I'm usually so good at fighting it. But lately, I've been letting it take its course in ways that I know I shouldn't. And what sucks is that I have no reason to be depressed. I have no reason to be anxiety ridden as often as I am. But I'm sad. And I'm angry, and I'm depressed, and I'm lost. And the crazy thing about all of this that I feel is that it does not stop me from doing what I love. I could go on and on and on about how much I love what I do. When I tell people that I work hours every week to create awesome things, people are always telling me, take a break, you need to freshen up, you need to this, that. I'm never exhausted from working. No matter the things I go through, I have my space. When the flashbacks of the past come, or when depression decides to just randomly jump me and slowly eat me away, and anxiety is killing me on the floor, no matter what's happening, I immediately go to my safe space. And I'm in it right now. It's destroyed. It is destroyed. Because all my costumes are everywhere. My makeup is all over the floor. Anyone would look at this and be like, oh, it must be like a sign of your depression because you're not cleaning anything and you're not taking care of it. No, this is my sign of happiness. Everything I love is on the floor. But when I leave this room, everything that's on the floor is terrifying. But in this room, everything is beautiful. The things I have made, the things I've brought to life, the happiness I have brought people, it's all on the floor in front of me. I never thought I would have a safe space. I never had a safe space until about 2 years ago. I'm never overworking myself. I never force myself to film or work or do makeup or bring a character to life. I immediately come here when I have the energy and when I have the ability. As I've said in a video before, you know, if there's one character who is my safe space, who is my place to go, it's my Vivalda. And I get so emotional talking about her, and there's a really good reason, and I cannot wait to share that reason. I'm dying to share it with you guys. But it's a surprise. And everyone may say, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal. It's just a character. It's just something you came up with. It's something I came up with when I wanted to die. And she and the stories that I create and everything like that have become the reason why I stay. The people who listen to me, the people who love me, the people who listen to my stories and love me are what keep me going. But anyways, continuing on to the serious things, because there's something I want to talk about. I have never told anyone this. I have never elaborated on this before. Please do not worry. Please do not fear. That's the last thing I want. Before I started bringing my characters and stories to life, before I found my art and my passion, and before I started finding my people and my sunflowers, here's where the situation gets a little interesting. Is when I try to talk about something that I have gone through, my brain tells me to stop talking. But my heart says, it's okay. You're in a good space. It's okay. Just talk about it. Maybe it will help you. Maybe it will help these feelings go away. Give me 1 second. And something my brain is telling me right now is like a bunch of people talk about these things. It's okay. It's my turn. It's okay. It's okay. I guess I just don't want anyone hearing this and thinking I'm crazy. I mean, I'm crazy in good ways. But before I started my craft and before I found my creative voice and before I started expressing myself through my art and my craft and creation, one day I was sitting on my bed. And this was before I met my fiance. One day I was sitting on my bed and I had some paracord lying around. Because back then that was kind of my craft, was like making bracelets and random stuff like that. And one day I saw a bunch of paracord laying around. And I essentially made one giant thick string. This was also during the time when I was being medicated and seeing a doctor and stuff like that, and everything was supposed to be helping. I took that cord and I wrapped it up around my closet metal bar thing that hangs up the clothes. Doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but I didn't hesitate. But what the crazy thing is that the moment I tried to get off the box, the weirdest thing happened. I had a dizzy spell, which I have naturally. I'll get into that in a minute. I had a dizzy spell. The dizzy spell is what scared me, but the rope around my neck didn't. For those who don't know what a dizzy spell is or anything like that, basically my vision goes blurry, my legs give out, and I shake. and it can turn into a seizure sometimes depending on how bad it is. And that one wasn't as bad, it just made me lose my balance a bit. But the dizzy spell scared me before I took a step off the box. The dizzy spell scared me so much that I immediately took it off and chopped up that string and never picked it up again. Crazy how things work sometimes, huh? The dizzy spell scared me. But me almost ending my life without a thought didn't. That's crazy. I'm still here. I'm still here. I've never said that out loud before. Wow. So, elaborating on the dizzy spell part. I have some health issues. I've talked about it a bit in the past. I don't go in depth to it much. When I was little, when I was between the age of 11, 12, 13, I was in and out of hospitals constantly because my body was shutting down terribly. I was losing weight, having terrible night sweats, cold sweats, stuff like that. I would wake up with my shirts drenched in sweat. This is where a lot of the trauma comes from, but it's also other stuff, but I won't get into because that's a little too personal. But I was losing weight a lot. My skin would go pale white and turn green. My mother was with me through it all, and what she and a lot of other people would say is that I looked like Bella from Twilight when she was pregnant and essentially dying. And it was such a big inside joke between all of us. But after going through several doctors and finally finding a doctor who took us seriously. A lot of doctors didn't take us seriously. They just ran a couple of tests and were like, nope, we can't find anything. No one could find anything. No one found anything for a very long time. God, the pain. The pain is still here, but the pain, it's a lot still. But as a child, it was even more on me because I just wanted it to go away. But a lot of things developed over time. The dizzy spells, I still have them. I have had 3 dizzy spells turn into really scary seizures. And now since I'm older, I've learned how to kind of control them. Like if I feel them coming, I immediately throw myself on the bed or on the couch, or I back up against the wall and slowly, the best I can, even though I feel my legs going numb, I just slowly seep to the floor. I can't tell you what those things feel like. My legs go shaky and they get really numb and I can't feel them. And they wobble, like they literally wobble, and I lose control. There was one time where I was standing at the door frame talking to my mom and dad, and all of a sudden my vision goes blurry. It almost looks like a static TV screen. It goes staticky and it gets blurry and it flashes and it flashes and it flashes. And then when I felt that happening and my legs started to shake, I looked like a cartoon character wobbling drunk. Like it was so strange. And then I collapsed on my bed and just waited about 10 seconds for it to go away. That's usually how they work, but now I think I got it. They're scary. They're very scary. When I had my first seizure, when I was 11, 12-ish, we were at a hospital. Or not a hospital, we were at a hotel because we were seeing a specialist in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we had traveled from Texas to go see someone. I was at the window sill and the window overlooked the beautiful sights of Cincinnati. It was so beautiful. I still think about it to this day. And it was a giant window that had the 4 squares, and the framing was thick metal. Like, it was about 2 inches, about 1.5 inches thick of metal. And I remember just staring outside, just looking at the view, looking at the water, looking at the trees. And then everything went black. There was no lead up to the fall. I just fell. And when I woke up, my mother was freaking out. She's like, oh my God, like, we gotta go to the hospital. I go to the hospital, and this is where it gets a little bit blurry, but I do remember what happened. I felt my side of the face, my right side of the face throbbing, and it's because I gashed my eyebrow on the windowsill when I fell. And I don't know how. My mom doesn't know either, because she was sitting watching TV and all she heard was me fall. She never really elaborated too much on that, because I think it was also traumatic for her to experience. We went to go to a specialist where she diagnosed me with something called Goldblum syndrome, which is decently rare. You can't find a lot of statistics and reports about it. Essentially, the way that I got described it is that my body would mimic signs of diseases, hence why a lot of screenings came back clean. But it also causes my bones to hurt so bad. It comes in flashes, it comes in waves, and when it does, it lingers and it hurts. It's painful. The pain goes under my kneecaps and under and in my bones, and not a lot helps. I kind of stopped going to doctors and hospitals about it, because I will always get the we don't know what's happening kind of case. And yeah, hospitals suck. Experiences I've had sucked. But the doctor who took me as a patient, and I remember his name. I don't remember the doctor who diagnosed me, because it was a decently quick trip. We were just there all day and we finally figured it out. But yeah, it's crazy. That is how I got diagnosed with Goldblum syndrome. And it's painful. When I have, the mental issues happening at the same time, it's hard. It's really hard. It's mainly my knees that inflame, and I think that's the worst, because, when I'm filming, I can't stand for long. The heat, when I feel certain ways, my body just melts and it gets limp, and I get extremely, extremely tired. But I don't ever let it stop me. I made a vow to never let it stop me, and it's not stopping me. It didn't stop me when I was 11. It's not going to stop me now. But I'm fighting through it. I'm doing okay. Doing my best. We're good. Something that always happened when I was in the hospital. So they were trying to test me for leukemia or lymphoma. We talked about chemo. We talked about all kinds of stuff. Like, we were pretty sure that I had it. But the scans were coming up clean, so that's what didn't make sense. All the tests were clean. But I was such a positive child. I was so positive. I didn't fully understand what was going on. But I did at the same time. But I always told my mom when we'd go shopping and go out, I always told her, I was like, well, if I get cancer and, I have to go through chemo and I lose my hair, it's okay. I'm going to rock clown wigs. Clown wigs. I told my mom that at 11 years old when walking through a grocery store. We were walking through Walmart, and I told her that. No matter how scary things got, I was so happy. I was making the best out of it. When the doctors would be poking me 8 times on each arm because they couldn't catch a vein and my veins were stubborn, I was watching movies and shows with my nurses, and I focused on that. I couldn't feel the pain. I didn't focus on it. It was nothing. I got used to it. I remember playing the Wii with the nurses and the doctors. And no matter the scary news I got, no matter how tired I was of operations, the bone marrow, procedures, getting my lymph node removed from my neck. That's why there's a scar here. Getting a lymph node removed so they could test it for cancer. It didn't bother me. I was tired all the time. I was tired all the time. I was in pain all the time. But I was still happy, and I made the best out of everything. And this is who I've grown to be. Everything is dark, everything is scary, everything is horrible, in here and throughout here. But I make the best out of it, and I found my craft. Nothing stopped me. The hospital visits didn't stop me, the pain didn't stop me. Trying to leave this place didn't stop me. Everything was a sign in some way, shape, or form. And I think that if that dizzy spell didn't happen that night, I don't think I'd be here. I wouldn't have found you guys. I wouldn't have found my art, my characters, my happiness, my safe space, my home, my fiance. I wouldn't have found my best friend again. It all happened for a reason. And I'm here. I'm not in one piece yet, but I'm here. And that is something to celebrate. Continuing on. All of this has made me learn and realize that I am here for a reason. I don't believe in those things, but I do know. I definitely know. Don't believe, I know I am here for a reason. After that night, I never thought about the fact that I could be who I am now. 5 years later, 4 or 5, give or take, I think around 5, I never knew that down that road I would be here. Okay. Anyways, okay. I never knew that 5 years down the line I'd be here, being there for people who I have never met, but I would love to meet. I am bringing happiness to those who might not have any other resources of happiness. I talk about it a lot, I know, but you guys have no idea how much it means to me because I thought I was worthless at one point in my life. Sometimes I feel worthless, sometimes. That's okay, I think that's normal. But then I remember this gigantic fucking garden that I have grown, that I have watered, that I have sheltered, that I have guided. In times where people didn't feel like they had anyone or anything else. I never thought I would be so important to strangers I have never met. I never thought my stories or my characters would ever be so important to people I have never met. I never thought it was possible to be here. I didn't know I would make it past the age of 20, give or take. When I was a child, I loved telling stories. I remember sitting behind my couch when I was living with my grandparents. I would sit behind the couch and I'd always have one person back there with me, and I would do something to entertain everyone, whether it was singing, putting on a puppet show, lifting my tiny hands over the couch so people could just see the little puppets, or whether it was dancing or telling a story that I wrote in my free time, which I did do that quite often in the periods that I was sick. Nothing stopped me. That's crazy. When I think about it, as I talk about it now, I just think about it even more. Nothing stopped me. I danced, I sang, I wrote, I acted through the pain. I remember in elementary school, I was sitting at a cafeteria table and I had all these pieces of notebook paper lying around, and I organized it into a comic that I wrote about a purple dog from Mars. A purple dog from Mars who had fire-breathing powers like a dragon, and she makes a friend with a human boy on a farm. I see the drawing in my head still. From elementary school, I still see it in my head. And this was also when I was sick, so that's just where my brain was. I loved to create, I loved to draw and write. And I remember sitting at this cafeteria table, and as I was reading through things and reading through it and just entertaining myself with the silly little things I came up with, everyone around me laughed at me. They laughed at me because they thought it was stupid. They thought it was silly. And there was this one girl, I still see her face. I never hated her. I never knew how to speak up for myself when it came to people bullying me and just hating on me for unknown reasons, but she just said so many mean things, saying how stupid it was and how dogs shouldn't be purple and it's ridiculous and I'm dumb and stupid. But that didn't stop me either. In fact, every negative thing that people would tell me only fueled my passion, as it does today. The amount of messed up comments I get every day fuels my passion just as much as love and kindness fuels my passion too. At first it was hard. When I first started posting my stuff to YouTube, it was very hard. It was very hard because it was a different kind of hate that I had never experienced before. But then I got used to it. I was like, I'm happy, I'm doing what I love, and I'm doing something different. I don't see anybody else doing this. And I continued. Love and hate fuel my passion and the internal flame that always stays lit. And now here I am, writing my books still, after who knows how many years, bringing these characters to life who have been with me longer than I can imagine. Mentally and physically, I am having a very hard time. But then I remember the things that make me feel okay. In the moment, I may not feel okay, but I know that I will be okay. I think it's been just about a year since I stopped self-harming in some way, shape, or form. And I haven't really felt those feelings in a long time when it came to I'm ready to go, Sometimes those thoughts are very loud, very, very, very loud. But I have learned and coped and fought against them. I have fought this battle for so long, and soon I think the war will be won. I just need a little bit more time. One day I know the war will be won. I know it. And I think the same for everyone else who struggles with similar things. You are fighting the battle strong, but soon the war will be won. I will be okay. I will be okay. No matter how hard it gets, I'm still here. And I will forever remain here. I think that's pretty much all I want to cover today. I think there's so much more to elaborate on, but I think I'll save that for another day because I've already spoken so much more than I thought I would. I feel like I spoke so much, but little to nothing at the same time. I think my mind has also found its position of peace for a little bit, so I'm okay. I feel better than before. That might change tonight or in the morning, but right now I feel content. But I want to end this off just talking about my community just a little bit. And I also do want to say that I also hope to all the people who have ever said that I fake my mental issues and fake everything that I go through, I hope you find your kindness. I hope you find your passion. I hope you find your strength and your will to be amazing. And to all those who have always been there to everyone who says such kind things when I mention my mental health in any way, shape, or form. To anyone who even comments on the most random fantasy video and says, "You're doing great and I'm proud of you." Those comments and messages mean the absolute world to me. And it really, really does. I feel like I thank you guys so much to the point where it's kind of obnoxious, but I also feel like I don't thank you guys enough for simply just being here. I am so unbelievably happy to have found the community that I have. I get so excited to share with you guys a story that I create in my little head that holds hundreds of worlds. I get so excited. Sometimes I wake up, as soon as I wake up, I'm like, I'm ready to go. We're gonna go do this. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I get so excited because there are people for once in my life who don't bully me for the stories I work, and there are people who love what I do. Yeah, it can be a little different, but different is fucking awesome. Different is beautiful. And I have always and will always live by that. So to know that there are people who love what I love and love what I do, it heals the child that forever remains. And I'm so glad that she has remained with me ever since. And I never plan on ever kicking her out or getting rid of her. Because I don't think any of this would exist without her either. As much as I never thought I would find myself saying this out loud on camera, I am so proud of myself. I am unbelievably proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for creating and making people happy and inspiring others to do something great and be someone great and being there for those who feel alone. And I'm proud of myself for not giving up. No matter how hard things get, no matter how much my brain wants me to die, I will fight it every single day because I have so much to fight for. Even though sometimes my brain tells me I have nothing to fight for and there's nothing worth living for. It's a constant headbutt. But my soul and my heart knows what I'm fighting for. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to want to stay in bed all day. It's okay to be tired sometimes or all the time. It's okay. As long as you keep fighting, that's what matters. As long as you open your eyes in the morning, that's what matters. To me, at least. But by sharing this, I really hope this video out of all videos tells you that you're not alone. You're never alone. You are worth more than diamonds and more than gold. And something that I love telling people is that there's always that saying where stars can't shine without darkness. And I think every single one of you is a star waiting to be seen. I am so proud of you all for coming this far. And I am so happy you're here with me today. Please, next time your brain tells you to do something bad, or the next time your brain tells you that the world doesn't want you here anymore, do your absolute best to not listen to that. I know it's easier said than done, I know firsthand. But those voices aren't truthful. They never are. The world would not be the same without you. The world would not be the same without me. I know a lot of people wouldn't be the same without me. I'm proud of each of you for coming as far as you have. And I hope you always remember that. I am just a stranger to many. I am a sister to many. Whether I am something to you or not, I am a stranger who is telling you that you are important. You are important and you are worth so much more than you know. I know you are trying your absolute best and your best is enough and you are enough. I love you guys with all my heart. And I mean that every day. I don't tell you guys these things because I want to rack up numbers, whether it's views, comments, followers, subscribers. I tell you guys this because I mean it. You guys, every sunflower in my garden is family. You are all family to me. You guys and my characters and the people I have in real life, you all are my family. And I would not be here if it wasn't for you guys. Every single one of you guys, including my characters, my fiance, my pets. I wouldn't be here without you guys. And I'm so happy to continue this journey. And I wouldn't give it up for the world, no matter how much my brain tells me to stop or tells me to go away from the world and go away from life. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here, always and forever. I really hope this video helps somebody. Whether it's one person, I hope it helps somebody. And I just want to put it out there anyways, just in case, because you know, I never know who could watch important stuff like this. The next time you think about saying something mean to somebody, think about the fact that they are human just like you. We are all human. We feel things. You never know what someone is going through. And just because you're hiding behind a screen with a fake profile and a fake name doesn't change anything. Kindness and love is the most beautiful thing, because you never know who could need it. I think I've said everything that I want to say, and things like this mean so much to me because it just feels like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I love you all so much. And I'll say again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for listening to those who listened. Thank you all for being here and listening to my stories and loving me and my characters and everything crazy that I show you guys. Thank you for loving me for who I am. I never thought I would find people who accept me for the weirdo that I am, and I'm a proud weirdo till the end of my days. I love you all so much. I really, really do. And I can't thank you enough for watching this if you've watched it. Or even if you've watched only like 5 minutes of it, that's more than enough for me. So, I can't wait to see where things go down the road. I hope to talk to you guys more about important stuff like this. Yeah, I love you all so much, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.